In Godzilla vs. Kong and then in the newest Godzilla Kong The New Empire, we see the titular Titan hero Kong having grown to his adult prime stage. He was 100 feet plus in his first appearance in Kong Skull Island and has now more than tripled in height alone to 103 meters or 337 feet in just 50 odd years. So in GXK we also got a chance to see other great apes and find out that Kong was not in fact the last surviving member of his species, but he is just one of hundreds of extant specimens. Yet it was surprising that the other great apes that were encountered were all quite short and small compared to our Titan hero. The tallest of them all is the Tyrant Skar King, who is still around 5 meters shorter than Kong. So why are there no great apes that are as tall as Kong? Here in this video we will explore 5 reasons why he is the biggest and why all the others are shorter than him. Let's get to it. Reason number 1. Nutrition and space. The first reason why Kong grew to a much larger size compared to the other great apes found in the Hollow Earth is due to the former, Kong, having greater access to proper food and nutrition in Skull Island. So Kong was the only remaining survivor of the great ape population of Skull Island, and as such, he has all the place to himself. His food source would include the large Maya squids, giant crocodiles, skur buffaloes, all types of other megafauna, and yes, even the aquatic creatures as well as the skull crawlers that might come out to the island time after time. Yet for the other great apes that were stuck in the living caves after being imprisoned by Godzilla for a very long time, there was scarcely any food source or any amount of food source. The available ones are consumed mainly by the Skar King firstly and then by his red striped henchmen, and then the leftovers are given to the other apes. These evil ones are visibly larger than the rest. So yes, I would say that nutrition plays a very vital role in the size of Kong being way larger than the majority of the ape population of the living caves. But there are other reasons too, which we shall explore here. After all, it is universal that good eating habits is important for proper growth and development as well as strengthening bones and supporting proper muscle functions. Reason number 2. Predation. In the Hollow Earth of the Monsterverse, the great apes aren't really the most powerful of Titan species. Yeah, they may be the most powerful as a group, as an army, but in lesser numbers, and if they are alone, they could become prey items to quite a few large predators that lurk all over the place. In Godzilla vs. Kong, when Kong was exploring the Hollow Earth, he came into conflict with a couple of warbats who did not hesitate to attack and try to kill both the humans in those HEAVs and also try to kill Kong. The warbats were again seen in the New Empire, and they were in a flock hunting hellhawks in the air. Kong was careful enough to stay out of sight until they left, because a flock of them might easily have taken him out. Now, there are also the warthog packs, which roam the place and hunt down titans larger than them. Kong was smart enough and strong enough to fight them back with cunning tactics and traps, otherwise he would have died facing such a large number. In the case of probable smaller growing great apes, they would have been easy meals for the large pack of warthogs that number around 20 to 30 canine titans that hunt in packs, and I would think that quite a few would have fallen prey to these predators. Even the lakes of the Hollow Earth houses gigantic titan predators like the drowned viper, which could easily dispatch an ape or two and consume them. This predation thins out the population of apes as well as it eliminates probable specimens that would have otherwise grown into very large alpha challengers and become a threat to the Skar King. Reason number 3. Kong's dominant genetics. Simply put, Kong might just have good genetics and he's just one unique individual that is kind of like a chosen one. But then, given that there are quite a lot of great apes in the living caves which would have produced 1 or 2 similar sized specimens, and that his parents, Kong's parents, weren't really that large to begin with, does shed some doubt into this reason. There should have been others that pose such size genes, if there is such a thing, meaning they could have been as big as Kong. For example, we do know of one such great ape that might have grown to a similar size proportion and strength, and that is comparable to Kong, and that is none other than the rival that defeated Godzilla in the ancient past, and the one that ousted him from his lair. This Kong was later killed by Tiamat, and Godzilla would only find this out when he came back to his lair to defeat Tiamat and find out the skeleton of the dead Kong, the rival. This was all in the events of Godzilla Dominion. So even if good genes are an argument for Kong being bigger than the others, there is still another more sinister reason for the disappearance of the lack of similar-sized great apes. Let's investigate. And this brings us to reason number 4, elimination of competition. So the Skar King as a tyrant rules his territory with an iron fist. His immense size, strength, power, cunningness, and combat experience makes him an unparalleled force amongst the great apes of the living caves. However, in one scene, we saw him in his throne room having a meal while the female apes were all gathered in one corner with their babies, all of which have red fur, which suggests one thing, that all the females were forced to mate with him and all the babies are his. There is also an observation that there is an absence of any adult offspring with a similar fur coating, which raises unsettling questions about his reign and the fate of his progeny. Given that the Skar King's presumed lifespan is in the range of thousands of years, it stands to reason that he would have had ample time and opportunity to father numerous offsprings, so the lack of adult red apes suggests a darker aspect to his rule. It is plausible that once his children reach a certain age and strength in such that they pose a potential threat to his dominance in the future, so to maintain his unchallenged rule, the Skar King may have resorted to drastic measures like sending his offsprings to dangerous suicidal missions, as in the case of Zuko hunting Kong, or even outright murdering them once they reach a certain size. This brutal approach would ensure that no rival could emerge from within his own bloodline, securing his position as an unchallenged ruler. The Skar King's fear for being overthrown by his own progeny is understandable given the power dynamics within his domain, which is all about strength. And yet this would follow the same route for the other great apes, or the sons and progeny of the other great apes that have grown to a certain size, if there are such offsprings. But given that he has hoarded all the females to himself, the existence of such ones is highly unlikely, and maybe Kong is the only one of a newer generation that isn't fathered by the Skar King. Now let's go to the last reason why there are no great apes that are as big as Kong, and the reason for this is the Titan War. So in the novelization of GXK The New Empire, there were quite a few statements that gave us some clues as to how the ancient Titan War actually took place and why. They repeatedly said that the great apes under Skar King battled Godzilla and the Titans under his command, which means that there was in fact a Godzilla-led army of Titans, which might have included the surface Titans, Mothra, and quite a few others. So in this massive conflict, many Titans and great apes would perish on both sides. Godzilla alone might have been responsible for quite a number of great ape deaths in the war, which would have wiped out the possibility for a future generation of great apes that might grow to a large stature as Kong. The remaining survivors of the war would be imprisoned in the volcanic region of the Hollow Earth called the Living Caves, and so this, coupled with the other previous factors, would heavily influence the growth and development of the great apes, up to a point where it was only the Skar King and just a few of his henchmen that grew to be around 90 meters or 300 feet in height, while all the others would stumble along with a 200 to 250 feet or 61 to 76 meters size range. And those are all the 5 reasons that I can conjure up about why Kong is bigger than every great ape. So now we have come to the end of the video. If you like this one, then watch this other one as well. Do leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.